Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Ari Bleemer, co-founder and CEO at OneCrew. Ari, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ben. Great to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to this conversation. Let's kick this off first. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So prior to OneCrew, I initially came from a computer engineering background and then moved over to the business side of things, always hoping to sit somewhere in the middle. So went into the management consulting world and spent a few years at Bain, based out of Atlanta, and worked across a number of different industries there, but specifically spent time both on the consulting side as well as on the private equity consulting side in a number of, not necessarily paving itself, but paving adjacent industries. And so in utilities, some different manufacturing industries, and a number of different places that interacted with engineers in the field and started giving me a little bit of a lay of the land of, the construction landscape, as well as the interactions between an office and engineers out in the field.
Yeah, and paving, definitely very specific. So I was really curious. So you said kind of adjacent to paving, but did the idea and those conversations, this all happened while you're at Bain and just thought, hey, this could be a good problem solve?
Yeah, so it definitely started while I was at Bain of just seeing, in many ways, these less sexy industries, seeing those often just be overlooked by the broader technology world and by the broader technology industry that, maybe not entirely overlooked, but often not focused on nearly as much. And kind of within that started digging a little bit more into construction itself. And so, construction, obviously very broad industry. At the time, Procore had IPO'd not all too long before that. And people were talking about it as vertical SaaS for construction, and vertical SaaS for construction does not exist, right? It's like saying vertical SaaS for healthcare. It's far too broad of an industry. It's made up of tons of different sub-industries. And so kind of post-Bain started digging a lot more into the construction industry broadly and started kind of building an understanding of, where different contractors sit in the industry, differences between what it looks like to run and operate a general contracting firm versus a field services firm. And then specifically in the middle of those two groups, in the middle of general contractors and field services, you have all of these self-perform subcontractors and not even necessarily self-perform, but these subcontractors where it's project-based work. And that's where we really saw a gap in the industry for a platform solution. So you think about, recent construction tech platform IPOs, you've got Procore, you've got Service Titan. They both serve huge needs in the industry, but there's a huge gap between those two platforms. And that's where we came in and feel like, we have a really strong opportunity to fill that need.
Yeah, and I love that. And isn't that founder investor utopia, those less sexy businesses, but they're ready to embrace technology and growing industries. And also, right, a vertical, but really it's almost, vertical within a vertical. So that sets us up perfectly. Yeah. So tell us what OneCrew, what products and or services it offers.
Yeah. And you made a great point there of demand being there, which I think often, people see these, again, these less sexy industries and think, oh, they're way behind on technology. People don't want technology. And, we see that as entirely not the case and have from the beginning, which is people want technology. People just want good technology and technology that actually works for them. And often a lot of folks in a lot of these industries have been trying to take software or take other technology from another industry, or that was, a very horizontal approach and cater it to their business, but it doesn't actually serve their business. And so I think that often can be confused with a lack of demand, that, not wanting the wrong product doesn't mean that the demand isn't there. It just means that the supply isn't there. But to your question, so OneCrew it's an all-in-one platform for paving contractors. Today, the majority of our customers largely do commercial work, also do some residential as well as some municipal and DOT work. But our goal is to service everything from a lead coming in the door all the way to an invoice going out the door. So heavily rooted in estimating. I mean, that's something that, when we talk about project-based work, and these various other platforms out there, that's something that we often see those platforms not serve these contractors in an effective ways in that estimating process. But the full sales process, so, your CRM, estimating and proposals, into operations of scheduling, dispatch, and work orders for folks out in the field, and then all the way through to the financials as well of job costing, invoicing, and payments. And so covering that all under one roof, and then a lot of our kind of secret sauce is the interconnectivity between all of those processes, right? So, in a lot of businesses, those kind of sit as siloed processes or siloed teams. And our goal is really connecting all of those folks and enabling a ton of collaboration, both in the office as well as between the office and the field to make these businesses really effective at what they do.
Yeah. And so would you say you're an operational system then for these contractors? Like you said, it's not just, hey, I can be a CRM system and send an invoice out the door, but also, like you said, estimating, which is a big part of contractors' job or their duties.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, our goal is to really be the heart of these businesses, and not to say that, these businesses will never have another software that they use, right? We integrate with HubSpot, for instance, if you want some of those more complex CRM features to run, marketing campaigns and things along those lines. But that's exactly right, that, we are kind of the core, the system of record for those businesses.
Yeah. And then so makes sense. So the paving vertical, and then who are you reaching out to? I guess, like, what's that ICP? Is it, the local small business paving contractors, owners up to larger? Tell us a little bit about your customer profile.
Yeah, so we're generally kind of small to mid-sized contractors, but we're also now serving some more enterprise businesses that have several locations, whether it be a private equity backed roll-up or just businesses that have either acquired additional locations or open new offices in different regions or different geographic areas. So it's a wide range of customers. Typically when we're talking to customers, they're on the very small side, right? If they're just getting their business growing or getting it going. We do work with a lot of contractors that, from day one, they're using OneCrew, specifically if they've got pretty ambitious growth goals and they're looking to grow that business pretty rapidly. And specifically, for those folks, we enable it so that we might be a little bit more than what they need on day one, but it means that they can stay within one platform as they grow and scale the business, because we have a really high ceiling. And so as they continue to grow the business, they are collecting all of that data from day one and can really evolve the business at a more rapid rate as they continue to scale it up. For a very small business in the industry that maybe is running a single crew and is very happy with kind of running a single crew, that size of business, there are some folks that we don't necessarily serve. And, we're going to be the first people to say, like, hey, based on everything you're telling us, here are a couple of other solutions that might be really good for you that are going to come at a much lower price point, and they're probably going to work just fine for you. And so, our goal is guide everyone to the right solution. And a lot of the time, we firmly believe that we are the right solution, but that's the goal.
And so when you come in, are you kicking out disparate systems, or are you just battling Excel spreadsheets plus maybe QBO?
Yeah. And so it's a combination. Very often, exactly what you mentioned, we're going up against spreadsheets, pen and paper, whiteboards, things along those lines, and obviously can make really, really rapid change and kind of have a huge impact on those businesses really quickly. But also there are other times where, like I mentioned kind of earlier on, a lot of folks are trying to use other platforms that aren't really built for their business. So we replace other platforms really regularly. It might be a platform that's built more for residential home construction or more for landscaping or things along those lines, where, it from a distance, it kind of seems like, okay, this all should work. And when you really get into the details of it and actually trying to run your business through it, there are several steps along the way where it starts to break down.
Yeah, that's interesting, especially, in running my tech stack survey, I see sometimes solutions where it's like, oh, that's not really built for that, but they're using it for this different purpose. So yeah.
Sometimes it works great, but
Yeah.
it can create a lot of challenges along the way as well.
Yeah. And then what year did you found OneCrew?
Yeah, so we incorporated right at the end of 2021. We kind of officially launched the business, and not the product yet, but officially launched the business in January of 22.
Okay. And then let's talk a little fundraising. Looks like you've raised a seed at Series A. So how much capital have you raised to date?
Yeah, so in total, we've raised just under $12 million. So we recently closed a $7.5 million Series A and closed that just earlier this year and are building from that.
Yeah. And it looks like kind of How quick were those in between rounds? Because it looked like it was 2024 raised the seed round and then but earlier this year. So was it a pretty quick condense from seed to Series A?
It was, yeah. So we launched initially with some pre-seed capital, and then in 24 we closed our seed round, and that was kind of on the back end as well as kind of at the beginning of a bit of inflection. So we had some really nice growth leading up to that, and then we were able to drive a lot of growth directly out of that seed round. And so, yeah, I mean, less than a year later, closed our Series A to continue to capitalize on that momentum.
Okay, so about less than a year between those two rounds, seed, Series A. So for the Series A, what were you seeing in the business? Were there signals, traction, things happening that said we're ready for more capital?
Yeah, so a few different things. I mean, part of it was just traction and, bringing on more customers at a faster rate and needing a larger team to support that along the way. But also, just a lot of exciting developments within the business of we're getting into enterprise now. And so we're starting to serve these much larger businesses and building out our full enterprise platform for them to, support the multi-location business. And so as we've continued to build, as we've continued to add additional configurability or complexity to some of the estimating, we're able to serve larger and larger customers along the way. And so we're able to continue to move up market while still really effectively serving, that core ICP and our customers from day one. And so a lot of those developments have just kind of, opened up new market opportunities for us along the way. And we want to have the team not only to go and capture that opportunity, but also make sure that, we're supporting those customers in a really effective way as we're bringing them in.
Well, that's definitely exciting. So yeah, it sounds like just more customers coming in general, plus a little up market traction that again, yeah, requires a little bit more product development. So makes sense. And then are you thinking about the two rounds or even the Series A, any lessons learned in those processes that you'd like to share with other founders who may be thinking about, say, a Series A?
Yeah, I mean, it's our seed round we were raising for a long time. So we kind of brought it in a couple of chunks of capital, and it was a long spread out process. It was really challenging at times. And I think one of the things that we faced and one of the things that, we struggled to figure out exactly how to tell the right story was the industry, right? I mean, it's an industry that's completely unfamiliar to a lot of people. And yes, you can connect with it in a sense of, have you ever parked in a parking lot? Have you ever walked on a sidewalk? People can make those connections, but they typically don't think about the people that are actually building and maintaining all of those roads and sidewalks and parking lots, et cetera. And so that was hard. We were raising from traditional venture capital and that was hard to kind of paint that picture of this is an industry that's a massive industry that there's tons of opportunity in. And to the point I made earlier, that it is not a case of people not wanting software. It is a case of the right software not being built for these folks. And so, earlier on, without as much traction and without as many proof points in the market, it was really challenging. It was challenging to, convince people that this was the opportunity that we knew it was. But that was definitely challenging, and it was really interesting. That seed round was quite challenging to raise, and it took us a long time to get there. When we first initially went out to market, we basically had to back off and then build some more traction and go back out to market. And then the Series A was actually a preempted round, and so it's kind of two opposite sides of the spectrum. Stage 2 Capital is who led our Series A. They're incredible partners. We were really excited to work with them, and so that was a round that I had booked out a couple months of my summer as, okay, this is going to be fundraising time. And 2 months prior to that, we had a round that was closed. And so, I think all that to say, fundraising is really hard. And I think that we have seen really all sides of it. And as, we built traction and we got even clearer on exactly what our story is and the product we're delivering and the opportunity that's there, it doesn't take that much to flip it from we can't get a penny to we've got people lined up.
Yeah, the great lessons there and insight. And tell a little bit about that preemptive round. So was stage 2 existing investor, or did that come about just from just keeping them posted or like, hey, here's what's happening? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a funny one. So Liz, who's one of the partners at stage 2 that led the round, it was Liz and Sakib. And Liz, I built a relationship with over the course of, I think, a year plus. We had one meeting that got along great, but then didn't meet again for many months. But then, met again, and we were starting to build some of that traction, like I mentioned. And one of the biggest things, and it's something that Liz has mentioned as well, is that, I would have a meeting with Liz and I would say, hey, we're going to be at this point at this time. And then we would hit that point. And, we kind of hit exactly the milestones that we were laying out. And so that on its own was really, I mean, these milestones were not, crazily aggressive, but they were quite aggressive. But we were really confident that was going to be, where we were going to be at that point in time. And so I think, a big part of it was frankly just us saying, hey, we're going to be here at this time. We're going to be here at this time, and hitting those milestones. And so, as those conversations got a little bit more frequent, it was probably over the course of between 6 and 9 months or so that, we were talking a little bit more frequently. And then, of course, as things continued to progress, they knew that we were still a few months out from going out to market, and they approached us and said, hey, we're really interested. This is something that we're super excited about. And ran, we did a fairly quick diligence process, and then, negotiated through a term sheet and everything along those lines. But it was, I think we got on the other side of it and had to take a step back. It was like, somehow this round is done. We're like prepping ourselves for, okay, we're going to go into a big fundraising push, and then all of a sudden it was done. And so, yeah, I mean, they've been incredible partners along the way. And it was a quick round, and that, our existing investors were really excited to basically fill out the round as much as possible. And so it was a round that was more or less filled overnight.
Well, that's great. So hard seed round, easy preempted Series A. So all that hard work paid off. So all right, let's switch over. So you talked early, targeting SMB customers, now moving to enterprise. Tell us a little bit about your go-to-market motion, because I assume SMB, are you hitting up the owners of these businesses who are super busy? Tell us a little bit about how you're finding prospects.
Yeah, you're spot on. And so, it varies a bit based on often, somewhat correlated with the size of the business. Part of the reason that we were really excited to bring Stage 2 on as partners is that they're very heavily go-to-market focused fund. And it's somewhere where, we knew that we could improve a lot of processes, and we're still in the process of really dialing in a lot of our go-to-market processes. To date, and really up through the Series A, our go-to-market has been go show up at trade shows. We do outbound calling and word of mouth and referrals, and word of mouth has been really significant for us as well. But it's to date, it's been a fairly straightforward or basic go-to-market process. We have spent next to no dollars on marketing. And so now as we kind of ramp things up and continue to push forward, we will start investing a bit more in marketing. We will start investing a bit more kind of on a few different angles, looking at some different channel partnerships, things along those lines. But it's a go-to-market process that is certainly developing pretty rapidly on our side. And the other thing I'll call out, to your point, it's calling up owners of businesses. They're often very busy. And, as we move up market, we do see, often you have owners that are not out in the field on a day-to-day basis, right? And so they are in the office more often. It's a little bit easier to set up meetings with them, to have calls with them, things along those lines. But it looks different kind of up and down the spectrum there. And, for folks that are pulled out in the field a lot of the time, we want to help them, have the tools such that maybe they don't need to go out into the field as much as they do today. And they can kind of trust the folks out there that they have all the right information, et cetera.
Yeah. It's a nice value prop to put in there. So, and then pricing models, we know they can be very simple, very complex.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit how you're pricing the product.
Yeah, so we have a very basic model today where it's largely seat based. We have some add-ons here and there, and we'll continue to evolve our pricing model. We're exploring a number of different things of be it usage based or tying it to results, or like there's obviously a lot of different options out there in the construction industry broadly. You have multiple folks that are just tied to revenue, right? And so we're exploring a lot of options on that, but to date, it's a per seat model. We try to keep it simple and just very straightforward for our customers.
Yeah, simple is always good, especially when you're bringing new tech in. And then, Ari, at this stage of your business, founded, say late 2021, early 2022, couple rounds under your belt, do you have a favorite number or metric that you're using to guide the business?
Yeah, I mean, we've always liked magic number in terms of growth. It's one where, we operate in a seasonal industry. So a lot of these numbers are actually a little bit challenging for us, right? Because we know that some months of the year they're going to look a lot worse than other months of the year where they're going to look off the charts. And so it does make a lot of kind of the sales metrics, a little bit challenging for us. But I think generally, some of the magic number analysis we've done has been quite valuable. We look a little bit, and we don't look a ton at, CAC LTV. We've looked at it some in the past. I think that it can be misleading in some ways, but generally, like, I also like keeping an eye on just CAC as a base metric, because it, again, like, for us, it can vary quite a bit. And it's one that, as much as we can smooth it out, we want to, and it helps give us, a pretty good idea of kind of, where we're charting right now.
Yeah, definitely. So magic number. So is there a magic number target that you shoot for?
I mean, it changes, right? So it depends how aggressive we want to get, and it depends on the time of year. Obviously, it's like, if we can go over one, then we'd like to be there as much as possible. But during some times of the year, like, we want to see that in multiples. So yeah, so it varies, but.
Okay. Okay. So over one would be a good number. And then, yeah, the importance of tracking metrics over time just to see the seasonality in there. And then do you have a headquarters location?
Yeah, we do. So the majority of our team is in office in San Francisco. We're right in downtown financial district. And yeah, we've haven't had an office from day one, and it's definitely been an important part of our business to date.
Okay. San Francisco. And then what's your current team size?
Yeah, so all in, we're around 20 people right now, and between full-time and some contractors as well, and continuing to grow the team quite a bit. So obviously, coming out of the fundraise, part of what we wanted to do with that new capital is grow the team quite a bit, as I mentioned. And so hiring on a number of fronts right now. We're hiring engineers, we're hiring salespeople, as well as on the growth side of things.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So OneCrew side, and then sense of scale right now. Anything you want to share around AR ranges, revenue ranges, any general sense of scale?
Yeah, I mean, also, we're still in the 1 to 5 million range. I feel like that's
Mhm.
typically so a normal range given. And so, we're in that range right now, but growing really quickly. And so our goal is to push out on the other side of that, and, as soon as we can. And yeah, it's wild to think of when we were at 100K, and it's, myself, my co-founder, we're talking about it. It's like, how do we go and 10x this, right? We put so much effort into getting these customers to get to this point, and then you build the right things in it, and, put the effort in, and it kind of happens, and then it happens again. So yeah.
Yeah, the compounding effect of SaaS. So I appreciate your time today. And as we wrap up, tell us what's coming up next for OneCrew.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I mean, we're just launching this enterprise platform right now. And so that's really exciting. And two of the main other initiatives that we're working on kind of through the end of the year right now are, one is paving's an industry that's a bit unique in some ways, but some other industries follow this as well, where our customers actually work and sub out work to each other on a fairly regular basis. And so we're building out a subcontractor portal and network for them to be able to work with each other really easily and to facilitate those relationships in a really effective way. And then also, kind of as this kind of core system of record for our customers, looking at a variety of different ways that we can employ AI on top of that, both on kind of external to the platform today. So things like, answering services, things along those lines, but then also directly with the data in the platform to help these folks, be able to run their businesses as efficiently as ever, and really understand their businesses in new ways by, taking all of that data and being able to provide insights that they haven't had access to in the past.
Well, exciting. Always more to do, right? Well, all right. Appreciate your time today, sharing your journey. If listeners would like to learn more about OneCrew, where should we send them online?
Yeah, so our website is getoncrew.com, getonecrew.com. You can book a demo directly through there, also learn a little bit more about the product right there.
All right, perfect. So if you'd like to know more, check out getoncrew.com. And Ari, really appreciate your time today and sharing your journey.
Thanks so much, Ben.